The movie starts from our Earth. Global warming is currently occurring on Earth. Due to this melting of ice sheets, rise in sea level, forest fires, etc., without even a tree, plants and vines have all perished. Millions of people die because of it. The last tree in the world's largest forest, the Amazon, has died. As a result, oxygen is depleted. Because of this, hundreds of countries have disappeared without a trace of their existence. In 2067, only one city in Australia has electricity. This is where people survive. A nuclear power plant here supplies electricity to the city. Here Ethan White and his guardian Jude work. Not only these people here, but everyone is wandering around with an oxygen mask. All breathe artificial oxygen. If you want natural air, you need a tree, but all the trees have died. Some come here and commit suicide. Here, like selling gas, oxygen is paid for and the cylinders are filled. After that, the film starts with the title 2067. In the next scene, Ethan comes home from work and removes the mask. The news about his father's Richard White death is running on television. He gets angry and turns off. He is angry with his father. This is Xanthi, Ethan's wife. Ethan buys an upgrade mask for his wife and designs some of it. Xanthi vomits blood while they play with it on for a while. The reason is that this synthetic oxygen can cause side effects in some people. Xanthi also has that problem. Next, Ethan is on his way to work as usual when he gets a call from his chief. He works in a large corporation called Chronocorp. Oxygen is being manufactured and supplied from this company. Ethan is accompanied by his guardian Jude. This is Chief Tech Officer Regina Jackson. She says that Ethan can save this hellish Earth. She then brings them both to a prototype time machine called Chronicle. Ethan's father, Richard White, invented the time machine 20 years ago. The technical team has sent a radio wave signal to this machine. That wave goes away and comes back with an encoded message. This message has come as a replay massage from almost 400 years ago as send Anton White. The message says send Ethan to the future through this machine. Humans can only live for another 20 years in the current state of the Earth. But Chief Regina says that if this message has come from the future beyond 400 years, the people there may know the solution. So they decide to send Ethan to find out the secret. But the problem is that this time machine can only send someone to the future once. If you want to send another one, it will require nuclear power. Not only that, to get from the future to the present we need the help of future people and there must be nuclear power. Regina says that now the future of mankind is in your hands and you can save your wife too. Ethan does not want to leave his wife, and to save the world. Next night, Jude says your dad will be proud if you do this. This angers Ethan and he commits suicide when Ethan is 8 years old. Ethan says that's why my mother dies too, and will stick to my hand for life. He worries that nothing has been put together for me except this watch. Jude says if you want to save your wife's life then you have to go. Next, 20 years ago on Ethan's 8th birthday, Richard gives Ethan a birthday present. As Ethan put his hand into the box, a watch-like object gets caught in his hand. Blood is coming out of his hand. Ethan cries out in pain. He didn't understand why Dad did this on his birthday. From that day he could not remove the watch from his hand. Next, in the current day, his wife Xanthi says, "Don't blame me for being here." She forces him to go to the future and save the world. She convinces him by sentimentally saying, "I hope you will come back." Ethan cries all night about leaving his wife. He then writes, "I will find my way back to you" on an artificial iron flower and leaves. He agrees to go with a condition that you have to save my wife first and you are responsible for that. Immediately prepare Ethan and leave. He is given a device named Archie. The device will help him navigate and monitor his heart rate, and through this the technical team can know Ethan's health. Then Jude says, "I will take care of your wife till you come back victorious." After everything is ready, the technical team starts the machine. Ethan Cloud, Milky Way universe, black hole, passes through many layers and falls back to Earth. Due to the speed, his jacket catches fire. He gets nervous and immediately takes it off. Now, he has arrived 407 years ago. That means he has reached the forest in the year 2474. Here he can breathe good natural air without cylinder oxygen. There is more oxygen to breathe. All around him are trees, plants and vines. He hugs the tree there with the smell of earth. Now there is only device called Archie with him. He tries to see the location in it, but he didn't get signal. So he turns on geomagnetic search through voice commands. It leads him in a direction. When it goes like that there is a skeleton. He sees a bolt puncture mark on its skull. When he sees Ethan White written on its jacket and a broken Archie device next to it, he realizes that we are going to die here and turn into skeletons in the future. Then he asking to Archie, "How come I'm alive and dead?" but the Archie device doesn't know the answer. Next, he breaks the skeleton's arm and pulls out the watch. That watch and the watch in his hand are identical, but the green light is on in that watch but the red light is on in the watch in Ethan's hand. The old Archie device is still working. Another person's voice is heard while listening to the last recorded sound. He is suspected to have shot himself. Meanwhile, the new device turns off while the old device plays. Seeing that the copper wire in the old device is intact, he takes the copper wire in the burnt jacket and wraps it around the new device. After that, the new device is not only turned on but the network signal is getting. Now that device scan shows the iron boxes around. This device does not show where the humans are there. Next the night, it taught how to create a fire using the Archie device. After making the fire, he eats the fruits found there and looks at the stars in the sky. Then he was thinking of the memories of the child. After a while, he is going to be sick. He had previously eaten fruit, so he's vomiting. At that time, something is from the sky with lightning falls on Earth, from which one ran away and punches one of the needle in the Conton's chest. After a while, the health is molded. Jude was sent here by Chief Regina. Jude has saved Ethan. Next, Ethan shows to Jude his skeleton. Jude saying it says I have saved your life and no longer have any problems, says your future is changed. Now they want to see the people who created this place using Archie device. Then they see the iron door. As Ethan approached it, a tool emerges from the bush, scans his eyes and opens the door. They show the name of welcome Ethan White in a monitor to go inside. Press Ethan enter button when press enter to activate. Immediately after his watch is turning away the blood from the hand and check his DNA and the light color in the watch becomes green. Here's all the light on here after confirmation. Here is a chronicle time machine. The countdown is activated after the voice commands that there are only 4 hours to go until 2067. Jude gets nervous, but Ethan do not understand it. Now he has a doubt. Why are there no people here? The color of the watch on the skeleton and the color of the watch on my hand have become the same color. He feels that death is certain if I go this way. So when the History of Chronicle machine sees the video of his father Richard, in which he says, I started this project along with my team. We have a monitoring device in the earth and it will go to humans who find the time of the oxygen, the tree, plant, and the flag is grown. Accordingly, people will travel to that time. This is the purpose of this project. Jude sees this and says don't get upset. Ethan keeps looking at it, in which Richard transmits a radio wave through Chronicle machine. It goes to 400 futures and returns with the message send Ethan White along with the climate data there. Richard is shocked to see that. Chief Regina asks when she can send people through this to the future. Then the technician says that now the people send it is not correct. He says that maybe in the future there will be no nuclear power so it will not be possible to come back here. At the same time, where Ethan is, the power goes down and the alarm goes off. Only the countdown is running. Ethan asks Archie device what will happen next. There is a power plant here. Archie device says that the core power for this can be obtained from it and if it is not turned on, this Chronicle machine will explode. They are shocked to hear this. Ethan has 3 more doubts. Why Chief send Ethan here knowing it was power failures, and who sent the message send Ethan White? Another thing is why the Chief sent Jude who is an ordinary worker instead of sending a doctor when Ethan is sick. After that both of them go looking for the power plant to fix it. First they need to find the tunnel for the power plant so they go to the city outside the forest. What used to be a big city 400 years ago is now overgrown with plants and vines. When you look closer, there are human skeleton everywhere. It has a skeleton with an oxygen mask. After seeing this, Ethan realizes that until the end, the oxygen is not available and the earth has cleaned itself. So it has been 400 years since oxygen became available. There are no humans in the future. After that they come to the place where Xanthe worked as a teacher. There are also human skeleton. Here he sees Xanthe's skeleton. In its hand is an iron flower given to it by Ethan. When Ethan sees I wish you come back written on it, he realizes that he is not going back to the present. Then a childhood memory comes to Ethan. Richard will give the watch and leave. He and his mother will go out in search of him. Following them, one of them would shoot his mother and grab her oxygen mask. Just as Ethan comes in front of her to put his mask on her face, she puts it back on Ethan's face and she dies. Next, the killer will steal his mask as well. Just then Jude comes and puts on his mask and saves him and raises him with him. He will think about this in the future. Then, he says I will never leave Xanthe like Richard left. He says that somehow the fate should be changed. Then Jude says that what is destined to happen will happen. Ethan sounds like he heard the dialogue on an old Archie device. When listening to the last audio on the old Archie device, Jude shoots Ethan after saying this dialogue. Jude immediately points a gun at him and asks why he didn't tell me about the old Archie device. Ethan asks him that why did you bring a gun here and why did you need a gun to save me? Ethan knew he was going to die because of him trying to buy that gun. Then the new Archie device says only 2 hours left. Jude then takes Ethan to the tunnel at gunpoint. There Ethan alone went to the chamber without oxygen and pulled a tool and turned on the power and fell unconscious due to lack of oxygen. Then Jude breaks the door and takes Ethan out and saves him. Now the chronic machine got power. This time machine has 37 minutes left to run. Now he sees his skeleton. It's still there. Fate hasn't changed. So to find out the cause of his death, he removes the battery from the new Archie device and replaces it with the old Archie device. The video of Jude shooting him is playing on that device. Jude sees this and says, "I will not kill you, this is not in my plan." Ethan asks, "What is your plan if that is the case?" Ethan is destined to die in the next 37 nights, so he trying to change that rule. Later Ethan sees Richard video recorded and Jude tries to stop him, so he keeps Jude in the room and locks him. Richard is very sad in that video. He apologizes for what he did to Ethan. Then he calls his wife and asks her to bring Ethan. Next comes Chief and Jude. The Chief says that we can only go to the future and live by leaving the people here dead. Richard did not agree to this. Richard thus sets up the DNA matching so that only his son can go to the future and come back. This is why Richard keeps the DNA matching watch on his son so that he cannot remove it from his hand. The Chief gets angry and points a gun at the technician and asks if you can operate this. He says he knows because he is afraid of it. Next minute she kills Richard. Then the Chief tells Jude to kill Richard's wife and be his son's guardian so he can go to the future with him. Through this, Jude will later become a guardian for Ethan. It will take 20 years for technician to prepare this machine. Now all the truth is known to Ethan. This is the reason why Ethan is kept from dying. Ethan asks Jude, "Why you betrayed me? He did everything for us." Jude says that nothing has gone wrong and you can live happily with your wife if you operate this machine. Ethan says, "I don't want to be selfish," and snaps all the cables. Jude gets angry and puts a gun to Ethan's head and calls out for a fight. This has already happened. Now Ethan doesn't fight and says, "I trust you," which is the dialogue that was not in the old Archie device. This leaves Jude apologizing to him saying, "I'm going to change fate for you," and shoots himself. Next, in 2067 the Chief has only a few people standing in front of the time machine. He has chosen only these people to go to the future. The Chief and her team will arrive in the future after the previously seen 37-minute countdown ends. Only a few minutes left for this countdown. Here comes the radio wave notification sent by Richard earlier in the future. Now the future of the human race rests on the decision Ethan makes. He sends the message, "Send Ethan White," with the radio wave that has just arrived. It seems to us that he sent this message to his time. The day this message arrived was Ethan's 8th birthday. Seeing this, Richard will understand that his son sent him from the future and will give the DNA matching watch. Now the time machine is in Ethan's future. Ethan has to come to the present, and when he comes, the Chief has planned to kill Ethan and use the time machine. Now if Ethan goes to the present they will kill him. So Ethan thinks skillfully and sends the future tree, plant, vine, etc. to the present. Along with this, he has also sent the video footage of killing the Chief, Richard. Then the time machine breaks apart. By this the Chief cannot go through this machine for any period of time. The sad thing about this is that Ethan can't go to the present either. Now Xanthi is very upset. The media got to know about the video and the police arrested her. Next, Xanthi is very upset to learn that he is not returned. Then Ethan will send a natural flower for her. Here in the future, Ethan is paying tribute to Jude when a butterfly flies in the background when he hears birds chirping and he goes from skeleton to space. But there is no skeleton here. He changed the rules. After that he goes out to the forest to see. There he sees the city united with nature. The reason for this is that he knows that people have been saved by sending trees and plants. Now humans live with 50% nature and 50% engineering structures. The film ends with this. Please like and subscribe. It will be a big support for me. I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching.